A retired couple can lose more than $10,000 a year without ever making a single solitary bad investment decision. I know that number shocks you. Every time I sit across from a new client and say that out loud, they blink, shake their heads, and tell me I must be exaggerating. Most retirees believe the absolute biggest threat to their life savings is a sudden stock market crash. You watch the financial news and you worry about global recessions. You worry about the Federal Reserve. You agonize over whether your 401k or IRA is sitting in the exact right mix of stocks and bonds. But I've spent more than 15 years as a state bar licensed estate attorney. I have helped thousands of families navigate the brutal complexities of retirement, property law, taxes, and government red tape. And I am here to tell you a truth that Wall Street doesn't want you to think about. The money that quietly disappears in the shadows is infinitely more dangerous than the money you see leaving in a market dip. Why? Because a market dip eventually recovers. But the money you lose to the hidden everyday costs of retirement, that money never ever comes back. It slips away. One invisible fee at a time. One overlooked government notice at a time. One automatic silent rate increase at a time. And before long, a retiree who spent 40 years doing absolutely everything right, saving diligently, living below their means, playing by the rules, wakes up at 3 a.m. wondering why their bank account feels like it has a massive leak. Today, we are doing a masterclass deep dive. I'm going to walk you through the exact hidden costs that are quietly destroying retirement savings in 2026. We aren't talking about buying expensive sports cars or taking luxury cruises. We are exposing the costs hiding in plain sight. You absolutely must stay with me until the very end, because the final hidden cost we will discuss today in Chapter 7 is the one I see bankrupting retirees the most. It doesn't arrive in the mail, it doesn't show up on a bank statement, but it will cost you more than all the other expenses combined. My name is Walter Barron. If you are serious about protecting the wealth you spent your entire life bleeding for, hit the like button right now and subscribe to my channel, Walter Retires. I share the legal and financial strategies here that traditional financial salespeople will never tell you. Grab a pen, let's get to work. Chapter 1, The Great Retirement Mindshift. To understand why these hidden costs are so universally lethal, you first have to understand the psychological trap of retirement. For 40 years, your brain was hardwired for one concept: accumulation. Your goal was to build the pile. You had a paycheck coming in every 2 weeks like clockwork. If your roof leaked, if your car broke down, or if your property taxes jumped, it was incredibly annoying, but it wasn't a survival crisis. You could always out-earn the mistake. You could pick up an extra shift, wait for your annual bonus, or delay a vacation. Your income was a flowing river. The day you retire, the entire mathematical universe flips. You enter the decumulation phase. The river stops flowing. You are now living on a fixed, stagnant reservoir of resources: Social Security, a pension, and whatever you manage to stash away. In the decumulation phase, your margin for error drops to zero. You can no longer out-earn your financial leaks. The biggest myth in modern retirement is that hidden costs only hurt the ultra-wealthy. People hear about hidden fees and they leave comments saying, "Walter, I don't have a massive stock portfolio. I live a simple life. This only applies to the country club crowd." That is a dangerous falsehood. In fact, these hidden costs hit middle income and fixed income seniors exponentially harder. If a millionaire loses $5,000 to an overlooked tax penalty, it's a bad Tuesday. If a middle-income retiree loses that same $5,000, they might have to skip replacing the bald tires on their car or delay a necessary dental surgery. These are Main Street problems, and Main Street is exactly where your money is quietly bleeding out. Let's look at the first major leak. Chapter 2, The Mirage of the Paid-Off House. Let's start with the most sacred, protected asset in the American retirement dream: your house. Most people equate housing costs purely with a mortgage payment. You spend 30 grueling years racing to pay off the bank, believing that once you hold that final deed in your hand, your housing costs drop to zero. You are finally free. That is a mirage. The mortgage might be dead, but the hidden costs of home ownership in retirement are accelerating faster than you can imagine. First, property taxes. Depending on the state and county you live in, your home's assessed value has likely skyrocketed over the last 5 to 7 years. Even if your local politicians claim the tax rate stayed exactly the same, an increased home value means a massive, unavoidable tax hike. I have had clients sit at this exact desk crying because they budgeted $3,000 a year for property taxes and suddenly they are facing a bill for $7,500. But here is the tragedy. This is where the system fails you. Many counties across the country offer profound legal relief for seniors, such as senior property tax exemptions assessment freezes, locking your property's taxable value at its current rate the day you turn 65, tax deferral programs. But what is the catch? They are never automatic. The government is not going to knock on your front door and politely offer you a discount. You have to know the specific program exists, request the legal paperwork, and file it by a ruthless deadline. Millions of seniors are tipping the government with money they desperately need to survive. Then there is the silent, creeping beast of deferred maintenance. Homes age exactly like the human body, slowly at first and then all at once. A tiny water stain near the chimney starts small. You tell yourself it can wait until next spring. 3 years later, water has silently rotted the underlying support beams, black mold has entered the drywall, and what would have been a $300 tube of sealant is now a $22,000 structural nightmare. And finally, homeowners insurance. Insurance carriers today use advanced satellite imagery, drones, and AI risk modeling to constantly assess your home from the sky. Many seniors just sign the renewal notice, assuming decades of loyalty buys them a fair rate. Let me be brutally clear. Loyalty to a massive financial institution is an expensive, one-way street. By making 3 phone calls to compare rates, I have seen retirees save $1,200 a year. But if you think insurance companies are greedy, wait until you see what the medical industry is doing. Chapter 3. The Healthcare Black Hole. Every retiree knows that aging costs money. You budget for your Medicare Part B premiums. You know you'll have a few doctor visits. You think you've built a wall around your health expenses. The hidden cost is everything Medicare doesn't fully cover. It's the terrifying chasm between what the glossy retirement brochure promises and what the hospital billing department demands. I want to tell you a story about a client of mine. We'll call him James. James was 73. He did everything the financial gurus on TV tell you to do. Avoided debt, paid off his house, saved diligently. Then his wife Sarah developed a chronic, non-fatal medical condition. It didn't require a massive hospital stay, which meant it didn't trigger major Medicare Part A protections. Instead, it required daily management. The expenses arrived like a slow, trickling leak. A change in her prescription tier meant an extra $180 out of pocket every month. Specialized orthotics to walk without pain, $450. Medical transport for physical therapy twice a week. 2 dental crowns and a bridge. Medicare generally does not cover routine dental. $3,800. Premium hearing aids for James, $4,500. Over a span of just 36 months, James and Sarah bled out more than $16,000 in out-of-pocket medical expenses. Not because James made a foolish investment, because nobody prepared him for how aggressively small healthcare costs compound. Healthcare inflation operates differently than regular economic inflation. While the cost of a loaf of bread might go up 3%, the cost of specialized medical care, private in-home nursing aides, and advanced pharmaceuticals can jump 15% in a single year. If you are only budgeting for your premium, you are walking blindfolded into a trap. Chapter 4. Death by 1,000 subscriptions. Let's shift gears and talk about something modern technology has weaponized against seniors. I call it subscription creep. 20 years ago, when you bought something, you handed over cash and you owned the item forever. Today, the entire global economy has shifted to a subscription model. Wall Street absolutely loves predictable, recurring revenue, and they rely on human psychology, specifically our tendency to forget, to keep that river of revenue flowing out of your bank account. It starts innocently enough. You sign up for a streaming service to watch one specific show your daughter recommended, $9.99 per month. You buy a new smartphone and upgrade your cloud backup storage, $2.99 per month. Identity theft protection, $14.99 per month. A premium crossword puzzle app, $4.99 per month. Individually, these charges are microscopic. They feel completely harmless. But when I run full forensic audits of my clients' checking accounts, the average senior is paying for 4 to 7 subscriptions they have not actively used in over a year. $30 a month doesn't sound like a crisis, but $30 a month is $360 a year. Over 10 years, that is $3,600. I have found retirees quietly bleeding $150 a month in overlapping software renewals and extended maintenance agreements on appliances that are already in the landfill. Corporate America counts on you viewing a $9 charge as too small to bother canceling. They make the cancellation process aggressively confusing. A subscription you never use is not a convenience. It is a slow, methodical leak in your financial life raft. Chapter 5. The Grocery Store Reality Check. Shrinkflation. We hear about inflation on the news constantly. Pundits in expensive suits argue about the consumer price index. But the inflation that destroys retirement savings doesn't look like a chart on a financial network. It looks like the aisle at your local grocery store. When you are retired, a massive percentage of your fixed income goes toward absolute survival basics: food, utilities, and healthcare. These are the exact three categories that experience the most violent price swings. But corporations have gotten incredibly clever using a psychological tactic called shrinkflation. You buy your normal brand of coffee. The price tag on the shelf is the exact same as it was last year, $8.99. You think inflation missed you. But look closely at the fine print. The container that used to hold 16 ounces of coffee now holds 12 ounces. The plastic packaging is molded to be the exact same size. The price is the same, but you just experienced a 25% price increase and they tricked you into feeling good about it. Then look at your utilities. Power companies are increasingly shifting to time-of-use billing. They quietly rewrite their pricing structure so that electricity used between 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. costs double. Many retirees who are home all day running the air conditioning, cooking dinner, and watching television during those exact hours suddenly see their utility bills spike by 30% without changing a single habit. Because these increases happen gradually, most people don't immediately adjust their budgets. They just keep swiping their debit card. But at the end of the month, the checking account is shockingly low. Now, if you think corporations are sneaky, wait until we talk about the government. Chapter 6. The IRS booby traps. There is a highly dangerous assumption that once you stop working, your taxes become blissfully simple. You aren't earning a W-2 paycheck anymore, so you just file a basic return and move on, right? Wrong. Retirement taxation is a minefield, and stepping on a mine costs you thousands. Let's look at the taxation of Social Security. Many retirees are utterly stunned to learn that up to 85% of their Social Security benefits can be subject to federal income tax if their combined income crosses a certain surprisingly low threshold. If you pull a little too much money out of your traditional IRA to buy a new car, that withdrawal doesn't just trigger income tax on itself, it can push your Social Security benefits into the taxable bracket. Financial planners call this the tax torpedo. Then we have required minimum distributions, or RMDs. The government gave you a tax break when you put money into your 401k or IRA, but they will not wait forever to get their cut. Once you hit a specific age, currently 73 for most people, the IRS legally forces you to withdraw a percentage of your retirement accounts every single year, whether you need the money to live on or not. If you calculate the amount incorrectly or forget to take the full withdrawal by December 31st, the IRS can hit you with a massive, crushing penalty. And then there is the heartbreaking reality of the widow's penalty. When a spouse passes away, the surviving spouse goes through unimaginable grief. But the IRS doesn't care about your grief. The following tax year, the surviving spouse must file as a single taxpayer. Because the income brackets for single filers are much tighter, the surviving spouse often finds themselves pushed into a significantly higher tax bracket, even though their overall household income has decreased. Never make a major financial move in retirement without spending 30 minutes on the phone with a qualified tax professional. Chapter 7. The Boundary Paradox, Bankrolling Family. I told you at the beginning of this video that the final hidden cost would be the most devastating. It doesn't come from a faceless corporation, a scammer, or a government agency. It comes from love. I am talking about the financial drain of supporting adult children and grandchildren. Every parent on earth wants to see their kids succeed. When a child faces a crisis, a messy divorce, a sudden job loss, a medical emergency, or simply struggling with the sky-high cost of modern housing, the parental instinct is to instantly step in and rescue them. Retirees will quietly dip into their emergency savings. They will co-sign a massive auto loan. They will pay off a grandkid's student debt. They will transfer just $500 a month to help a 35-year-old child make rent. There is absolutely nothing wrong with helping your family. Generosity is a beautiful thing, but generosity without boundaries is financial suicide. I have watched retirees completely derail their own financial security because they couldn't bear to say no. They convince themselves it's just temporary. But temporary has a terrifying way of becoming permanent. 3 months becomes 3 years. Here is the brutal, unavoidable mathematical truth. Your adult children have time on their side. You do not. If your 35-year-old son goes bankrupt, he has 30 working years to rebuild his credit, earn a higher salary, and recover. If you go bankrupt at 75 trying to save him, you have 0 working years to recover. You will end up destitute. And ironically, who will you have to rely on when you run out of money? The exact same children you broke yourself trying to help. You are not doing your family a favor by risking your own stability. You matter too. Your future matters. Your ability to afford your own care matters. Sometimes, the most profoundly loving thing a parent can do is to look their child in the eye and say, "I love you, but I cannot fund this. My fixed income simply will not allow it." Create healthy limits. Do not set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. The Master Action Plan. The threats to your retirement are quiet, consistent, and persistent. But the brilliant news is that awareness changes everything. The moment you shine a massive spotlight on these hidden costs, they lose their power over you. I am not going to let you watch this masterclass and then just click away to another video of funny cats. I am giving you a strict assignment. Here is your definitive 5-step action plan. Execute this today. The subscription audit. Print out your last 3 months of bank and credit card statements. Get a bright red pen. Go line by line and circle every single automated recurring charge. If you do not actively, joyfully use that service on a weekly basis, call them today and cancel it. Stop the bleeding right now. The property tax defense. Find the phone number for your local county tax assessor's office. Call them tomorrow morning. Say exactly this: "I am a senior citizen living in this county. What specific property tax exemptions, assessment freezes, or deferral programs are available to me, and exactly how do I apply?" Make them give you an answer. The insurance verification. Call your auto and homeowners insurance brokers. Tell them you are auditing your budget and want a comprehensive policy review. Ask them point blank, are there senior discounts, multi-policy discounts, or low-mileage discounts I am currently missing? Verify your rates every single year. Calculate your true healthcare gap. Get a blank piece of paper and write down every single dollar you spent out of pocket on healthcare over the last 12 months. Eyeglasses, dental cleanings, copays, gas money driving to specialists. You cannot plan for a gap until you know exactly how wide it is. Leverage free federal guidance. If you are enrolled in Medicare and feel overwhelmed, search online for your state's SHIP office, State Health Insurance Assistance Program. They are entirely free, federally funded counselors whose only job is to help you navigate Medicare and find cost-saving programs. They do not sell insurance or make commissions. Use them. None of these steps will cost you a single dime to execute, but taking one weekend to tackle this list could easily save you thousands of dollars this year and tens of thousands over the course of your retirement. Retirement protection doesn't require complicated Wall Street algorithms or secret offshore loopholes. It simply requires paying attention to the quiet places where your money escapes. Every dollar you rescue from an unnecessary fee, a missed tax exemption, or a forgotten subscription is a dollar that remains exactly where it belongs, in your pocket. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this masterclass opened your eyes and helped you see your finances in a new way, I need you to do 2 things right now. First, subscribe to my channel, Walter Retires. I am building an army of educated, empowered seniors who refuse to let the system drain their wealth, and I want you in it. And second, please, hit the share button and send this video to just one person you care about who is over the age of 65. A single piece of information from this video could save them thousands of dollars and spare them years of silent, unnecessary stress. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and I will see you in the next video.